everyone. Welcome to another Entrepreneur Spotlight. Today we have one of our entrepreneurs, David Beach from Royal Crown Tours. How are you doing, David?
I'm doing well. How about you, Alan?
Awesome. We're so excited to have you here today. You have some exciting stuff that's been coming up. But before we get into that, I'd like to find out a little bit more about you. Can you tell us about why you took the entrepreneurship program and what your company is all about?
Yeah, so I started Royal Crown Tours in 2015, and I really was in charge of the product development with it. And so I got really good at crafting tours and experiences for people, but I really struggled with the administration side of it. And so I had a business partner that was taking care of all the not fun work. And then he decided to retire. And all of a sudden, I got left holding everything. And I was like, crap, I don't know anything about our insurance. I don't know anything about that type of stuff. So I was like, I can do this. I just need to learn how to do it. And you guys just happened to be offering the course when I was going through that I need to figure this out phase. And it really helped me out. Like, it really settled me into knowing that I can manage this on my own. It's not as bad and awful as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, you're actually pretty unique in the fact that you've already operated tours, like you said, with your previous business partner, and now taking this endeavor on by yourself. It's always more challenging. People don't always realize that, running a business is more than just the fun part of it, creating the tours we love, going on the tours we love, seeing the happy faces from the people who take our tours we love. But the insurance, the technical background, the website, all that stuff is kind of boring to a lot of people. So it is a
Right.
challenge to get that going. So kudos for you for doing that. Your tour company itself, though, that you've kind of pivoted to right now. Obviously, you took the class. COVID happened, so here we are in the middle of a pandemic. What has been your sort of biggest challenge in creating the tour company during this time?
Really, my biggest struggle has been getting past my own mental roadblocks, and holding myself accountable. I've had these ideas. Like when I took the entrepreneurial class, I wanted to do the Salty Queen adventure that we talked about. And I had all these great ideas for itineraries, but I I'm an over the road tour guide. I've never done local. I mean, so it was I just was having a hard time wrapping my head around it and committing to it. I'd look at this little afternoon itinerary that I created and I was like, what's so special about this? I mean, I've built 14-day tours and like on the California coast. Why is this little 4-hour trip around Salt Lake a good product?
Why is that? Why is that a stumbling block?
Yeah, for some reason, I really struggled with going small and really just embracing the fact that I do live in a cool area and like really just finding my niche for it.
Well, Salt Lake City is a major stop on tour routes, and so even as a local guide, coming up with 4 hours of commentary, I mean, in Salt Lake, no offense, should be quite easy because there's a lot to talk about. But you have a very special talent. One, you're a motor coach driver. You drive a bus, so you can operate a motor coach. How has that helped you in terms of planning what you're doing now?
So the biggest help has been the contacts I made as a driver and the relationships that I had built. Uh, Whenever I need to use a coach, I just have an agreement with these companies that, hey, if I book through you, I get the best available coach that's at the yard. And they know in return for helping me out and giving me a good deal that when they're in their convention season or if they're in a bind, they'll turn around and call me and ask me to come drive and help them out. So
Amazing.
it's kind of just this give and take thing. So like tonight, I have to go drive University of Utah football to help out before I go on one of my tours, just because that's an agreement I've had standing.
I love it though. Hey, that's what we live in now, give and take, and making those contacts is what's going to set you apart from the rest. Let's talk about your tour company now and how you've pivoted. Sort of, you had to break the seal, so to speak.
Right.
As you said, it was tough, so you had to come up with something. And I love that you came up with a holiday themed tour to kind of get yourself out there and started. First of all, tell me how you came up with the idea of that and what steps you had to take to make that actually happen.
So 2 years ago, I got a phone call from one of my old managers that I had driven for, and she was like, I want to do something with my family, and we want to go see Christmas lights, and can you just take us down to the Spanish Fork Festival of Lights and maybe throw a few little things in along the way? And I was like, yeah, totally. So I had done that. It was a one night thing. I tucked it away. I didn't even really make anything off of it. But then all of a sudden, I was sitting at the IATDG conference, and I was like, wait, I could probably resurrect that old Spanish Fork Light Festival itinerary I had and market it to people. So I got on Viator, put it and the Pond Town Christmas up as an itinerary. I hadn't created anything else. I was like, I know this is the rough schedule. So I threw it on there, and then I was like, crap, now I have to hold myself accountable. And I was able to build the rest of the itinerary. So every night since Thanksgiving, I've been out going through like the county looking for the best Christmas lights. And I flat out tell the guests that, like, I said, I can either take you into a neighborhood, show you a million Christmas lights until you throw up, or I can show you the absolute best Christmas lights. And we have these little gaps in between them. And when I went out on Thursday night, they were wowed by the exhibits that we showed. So it was really great. We have our first actual one tonight. I ended up having to cancel last night. So.
Well, that's exciting. Tonight's your very first tour. That's great. So what is the tour involve? How long is it? How many people do you have signed up? How are you selling it?
Yeah, so to start out, I'm selling it on Viator and WeTravel. I wanted to post it on Airbnb also, but then I found out they have an exclusivity contract. And so if I wanted to sell on there, I'd have to double the amount of itineraries I was running, and it just wasn't worth it at this point. But so the way I'm doing is I have it on WeTravel, and I'm using that one as kind of funneling my friends to that site, because then I can, to be honest, I can add my fees on at WeTravel, whereas Viator takes a huge chunk out of my profit for it.
And just to be clear, We Travel is more of a multi-day tour sort of. It's built for multi-day tours, but you're using it for this particular one as well.
Yeah, I'm using it for this one. I used it on an over the road that I built it's been about a month ago, and I really liked it. But for this one, I was like, I can have the little bit of flexibility with it. I mean, it's been a pain in the butt. Like, I realized I made a mistake on the first tour that I duplicated 100 times. So then I had to go in and change the same mistake on each night that I'm operating the tour. So it's not really set up for what I'm doing, but it's getting the job done. Like this weekend, I wanted to do a flash sale just to try to get some butts in the seats, basically, with my friends. And I don't have that option on Viator to put out a discount code.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I'm just going to use WeTravel for that and just start funneling my friends through it, because I can hopefully make more and not lose as much in the fees.
So how many seats do you have for tonight sold?
So tonight we have like 18 or 19 sold right now. I had this so tonight I'm doing it as the Salty Queen, Ms. Bomb herself. And I had this family call me last night, and she was like, we're only available tomorrow night, but I noticed you're hosting it in drag. Is it going to be okay for my family?
Yeah, just so everyone's aware, Salty Queen is the alternate ego tour company of David Beach. So that's where basically David also drives a motor coach dressed in drag sometimes and does commentary as a tour guide in drag sometimes. So that would be incredibly fun. And you're doing that special for tonight, for Saturday night.
Right. So I decided I wanted to just try it one night to see if there was a market. And actually, it's been the harder night to sell, which surprised me. And wow. I don't know if it's just the time, like the COVID times, and the fact that the demographic that I'm targeting, it tends to be the people in Salt Lake that are taking COVID more seriously. So it was kind of interesting that I figured it would be the first one to sell, and then the other regular trips would be harder, but it's been opposite.
So with COVID and all, how are you taking precautions, or what precautions legally do you have to take with COVID?
So Utah basically hasn't done anything. I mean, we just barely got our first mask mandate like 2 weeks ago, right before Thanksgiving. But what we've done is on the motor coach, we installed a hydrogen peroxide air filtration system on there. We also put in antimicrobial filters over each of the air vents in there. I'll be sanitizing the coach in between each trip. And then my friend that I convinced to drive for me on this trip, part of his thing is he's going to sanitize it at the couple stops where the people actually get off the coach.
That's incredible. I've never even heard of microbial. What is that word?
The antimicrobial.
Yeah, that air filter for the motor coach. That's pretty amazing. So that's exciting. So the holiday season, you're going to continue to sell your tours locally in Salt Lake City to see the Christmas lights. What are you doing after that? How do you see 2021 shaping out for you?
So what I'm hoping to do is, I mean, really my heart is still in my over the road tours, and a lot of my ones from 2020 that I had to cancel, I'm starting to plug back into 2021. However, I do have a itinerary built right now based around the Sundance Film Festival that I'm waiting to put on the market until we know for sure if the festival is going to be happening in person. So I just have the couple little itineraries sketched out around Park City. Now that I'm more comfortable using Viator, and I'll probably have to switch over to Fair Harbor a little bit more for these local type trips. I do want to build like a distillery tour around Salt Lake, but I don't know. I'm still kind of in that little, what's going to make my distillery tour special versus any other like Utah trip, like talking about the history. So I'm still trying to work that out a little bit. I also started a local travel club here right at the beginning of COVID. I just threw up a Facebook page and just to start getting likes on it. And so right now it's up to like 2,500 followers.
How did you get those?
So I called it the Utah Gay Men's Travel Club, but at one of the rules when they add on, like, because you have to like ask people questions or whatever, I was like, hey, will you please invite 10 friends to like this page?
Wow.
It naturally just, it's funny. Like there'll be a day where I get like 100 likes and it just snowballs. Then it'll have like a little dead time. And then all of a sudden one person will add on again and it'll start to snowball again.
That's amazing.
That's what
absolutely amazing.
So I'm kind of doing it, putting feelers out in non-conventional ways.
Well, and we always encourage, like, I mean, creating groups, joining different groups yourself, everything from yoga to, art classes, whatever it is that there's, whatever medium there is, there's a group for it and people that are interested in that and doing travel related around that. So, photography is a big tour itinerary favorite. So really, I mean, just being creative like that, good for you. I'm glad you did that. And, I wish you luck with those over the road tours as you continue to grow. We're all hoping that 2021 will be a better season, not just for not just for the health point of view, but also just for the travel, so we can all get back to work. So David, thank you so much for talking to us. I am so inspired by your story, and I hope that other entrepreneurs are also inspired by David's journey. Guys, if you have any questions, you can go to David's website. David's website is?
I have royalcrowntours.com, or on Facebook, David the Tour Guide.
Perfect. We'll make sure we put those web addresses in our description page. And if you're not part of our YouTube channel or haven't subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you continue to get updates and inspiration from amazing entrepreneurs and tour industry professionals here on our channel. David, we'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.
Yeah.